Sadhguru?
People think by changing attitudes, their consciousness will change. No. By changing attitudes, certain actions will change. Yes, positive, beneficial, but it is not truly transformative. Change will happen, transformation will not happen. If I have to define a distinction between change and transformation, change means the residue of the past will still remain. A transformation means nothing of the past will remain, which is what is needed today if you want to create a new world, if you want a new generation to have a fresh life. It's been expressed in so many ways. Being in this part of the world, what they're familiar with generally, someone said, leave the dead to the dead. It's very significant. This is not coming out of recklessness. This is not coming out of unconcern, but this is coming with the concern that you must be a fresh life. You can learn many things from the past about how to conduct yourself, but there is nothing to learn from the past about how to be. Because you are a complete life by yourself. You don't have to learn how to be a life from the past. Maybe you have to learn how to be a good engineer. Maybe you have to learn how to be something else in the society from the past, but you don't have to learn how to be a life from the past, because past has nothing to do with this. This is a fresh life and this is a complete life. Consciousness is that dimension, which is the very source of who we are. Our intentions, our actions, our thoughts and our attitudes are a consequence of that. Or in other words, we are trying to fix the consequence without fixing the source. Now all these distinctions of variety of things that they said, gender discriminations, racial discriminations, every kind, okay? Somebody is a Hindu, somebody is a Muslim, somebody is a Googler, it becomes a religion after some time, believe me. The nature of being human is this. See, there are four dimensions of our mind. In modern societies, the nature of our education has constipated our mind in such a way because we are just largely using just one dimension, which we call as the intellect. The other dimensions of mind, if I have to use Indian terminology, it means buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. What buddhi means is the intellect. You do what you want. The nature of the intellect is to slice things open and see. If you leave the world in the hands of your intellect will chop it into a million pieces and will want to chop it into further micro pieces and want to chop it into further micro pieces depending upon how sharp your intellect is. The sharper your intellect, the more you dissect the world. You cannot stop it because that is the nature of the intellect and it's good. So you must apply intellect only to know the material aspects of life. You can't know life this way. Jay, if I want to know you, can I dissect you?
No.
The fundamental identity for you is always your body. This racial thing that concerns him and concerns all of us, I'm darker than him, you know. I face it all the time, joyfully, but I face it everywhere I go. I have extra features which make me further discriminated. But our first identity is with the body. When we identified with the body, the color of the skin also becomes part of it. Why do we identify with the body? Because our experience is limited to this. If you say me, you mean this, isn't it? Because your experience of life is limited to this, naturally you're identified with this and this is you and this is how you look. Somebody looks so different, whether in gender or because of race, or because of maybe just fashion. Who knows what makes them different? But suddenly, this is me, that's you, it's established. But we sit here in this hall, whatever the color of our skin, whatever our religion, whatever our gender, we are inhaling and exhaling the same air. But we have no issue. Body has no problem. But the identity has a problem. You're identified with something. We have not cultured our children right from an early age that your identity should be universal. This is something in India, traditionally, before you start education for a child, there's something called as Vidyarambham, where the first chant that they must do is that my identification with this entire cosmos. Without this, you should not give education to a child, that is the understanding. Because education is seen as an empowerment. You should not empower a person who has limited identifications. Because it doesn't matter whether it's of individual nature, or of family, or of community, or race, religion, nation, it doesn't matter. Once you have limited identity, you will cause disharmony, you will cause cruel things, thinking you're doing the right thing.
So I'm involved in organizing a peace conference in India, and it's a very grassroots-led effort, so no politicians, thank God. And I found it interesting that you said you stopped attending peace conferences. So I'd love to hear from you any advice on what we should do or what we should avoid to make this small effort a success for the people who are attending.
See, when you say, no politicians, thank God, you're just not attending to the source of problems. Politicians are not another breed of people. A democratic society means tomorrow you may become the president of this nation, that's what it means, yes? If you're willing to stick your neck out, you may become the president of this country or a prime minister of another country. So politician did not drop from the sky, he is not some other creature. He's just like you and me, he stuck his neck out, which you and me are not willing to do. Let's admit this, it's not an easy thing. It's easy to sit down and comment, but it's not an easy thing to try to run a nation. It's complex, believe me. So, you must have politicians, but you must have an atmosphere where it's not political in nature, where they will also let their hair down and talk like common citizens or human beings, but without them, what are you going to change? So peace conferences, if it's just an entertainment, you can gather your friends and have a peace conference. But if you want peace on the planet, the most important politicians, the most powerful politicians in this world must be there. Only then there is a possibility of peace.
Sadhguru, you talked about identity and inclusive consciousness. So I want to know, let's say like you talked about the sensory body and feeling that everyone is part of you kind of thing. So where does the role of action comes in? So if I do something, do I identify myself with what I did? And let's say if I feel that you are or everyone is part of like me or the whole cosmos, and you do something, is it you doing something, cosmos doing something, me doing something? Where does the action comes in picture?
In this existence, in this cosmos, we are not even a speck of dust, that small we are. But still, creation has given us an individuality, an individual nature, that we can experience these things. But countless number of people who lived on this planet before you and me came, where are they? They're all topsoil. They've become part of the earth, isn't it? So, if you get it from me today, you can transform your life, that really everything is a part of you and you are a part of everything, not as a thought, but experientially. If you can experience everything around you as you experience the 5, 10 fingers of your hands, then you will see life becomes tremendously beautiful. Otherwise, anyway, one day you'll get it from the maggots, but it'll be a bit too late lesson, but everybody will get it one day, isn't it? Hello? When people bury us, we're going to get the point that we are part of the earth. Right now, if we get it, we can live sensibly. So, this must come from an experience. If you come from a thought, again you're thinking, how is inclusiveness and individuality existing at the same time? That is the beauty of this existence. It is the filth which has become the flower, isn't it? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sadhguru. Thank you. Thank you all.